As a group, we decided that the most important change we can make to bring about sexual equality is to create equal opportunities for both men and women in the workforce. The first step to explaining this is to define what we believe sexual equality is. The EEA, or European Economic Area, and the Norwegian Economic Area, as stated in their guide, define sexual equality as this: all human beings are free to develop their personal abilities and make choices without the limitations set by strict gender roles, and that the different behaviors, aspirations, and needs of men and women are equally considered, valued, and favored. We agree with this statement, and to prove that the best change we can make is to create equal opportunities in the workforce, we will use the consequentialist theory, where we weigh the costs and benefits for everyone affected and aim to maximize the good.
The dimensions of gender equality that we found important are economic and social rights, human rights, prevention of violence, and participation in decision-making. First off, economic rights. Men and women must have the opportunity to participate equally in economic development. This will eliminate gender gaps in the labor market, make equal pay for equal work, equal access to education, and more flexible work environments. Initiatives that promote gender equality in social rights include such initiatives that take into account parental leave, maternity protection, working time, part-time, etc., particularly these that are specifically toward women. Now, human rights. Women's rights are human rights. They're not a special category. Gender equality relates to the issue of full enjoyment of human rights and fundamental freedoms. Prevention of violence. This relates to women who face gender-based violence, domestic violence, or any type of violence in the workforce. And finally, participation and decision-making, both at political and economic levels. The equal participation and representation of women in the societal systems and local decision-making processes, including elections. This includes recruitment and career development aspects. So our group decided that equal opportunity is the best policy for us to address, and when talking about equal opportunity, we imply multiple different objectives. A study done by the American Association of University Women Educational Foundation said that 1 year out of college, women who work full-time receive only 80% of what a man earns. And in 10 years, those same women will only earn 69% of what a man earns. But the question is still posed as to whether or not women will ever earn the same amount as the man. The answer is no. This is discrimination and has been and remains to be a serious problem for women in the workforce, even though on average, women in college receive higher GPAs in every major. According to the EEA guide, implementing gender equality requires equal representation and participation of both men and women in the economy, decision-making, as well as in social, cultural, and civil life. Only in this way will men and women reach their full potential in society. It implies a fair distribution of resources, the redistribution of power and caring responsibilities, and freedom from gender-based violence. Considerable progress has been made regarding gender equality in the beneficiary states of the financial mechanisms. However, formal rights do not necessarily reflect actual rights or rights in practice. This consideration, combined with persistence, underrepresentation of women in politics and economic leadership, as well as violence against and trafficking in women, shows that despite the legal framework, structural inequalities still persist.
As affirmed by the UN Conference on Human Rights in Vienna in 1992, women's rights are human rights. They are not a special category of rights. Hence, this dimension of equal opportunity relates to the issue of the full enjoyment of human and fundamental freedoms. Such things as gender roles should not be taken into consideration when it comes to the opportunity of work or employment. Marilyn Friedman believes that women want the traditional family to stay at home and be the caretaker. Even if this is true, the same rights are still available and no rights are denied. Yet this idea of equal opportunity ties in with the utilitarian theory that everyone would be better off on equal ground. This is maximizing happiness because everyone's opportunity is bettered by equal pay, benefits, and initiatives towards maternity protection, part-time and fixed-term contracts, and parental leave and public health. The workforce should allow for more equal opportunities because equal opportunities can benefit both sexes. For men, David Benatar believed too much pressure was placed upon men to perform and take charge to be the providers for families. Pressure to perform and take full responsibility can be alleviated if women are able to take up the same positions, giving equal workloads and taking away any unfair amounts of expectations. Women are also able to balance work and family life if things such as provisional daycare benefits and more flexible work environments are available. As Marilyn Friedman believes, this can prevent from women having to leave the workforce to take care of their families due to rigid work environments and lack of support where they don't have the flexibility to handle both work and family at the same time.
Some employers may resist the idea of treating women as equal to men. They may argue that women are less likely to become permanent employees. If a company is looking at a young married female candidate for a job, they may assume she could become pregnant in the near future and leave the workforce in order to care for the child. This would render the time and money spent training that employee as a wasted investment. Therefore, paying female employees less money is simply balancing the risk. However, under our discussed plan, this fear would be irrelevant if companies offered daycare facilities and maternity leave. With these provisions, women would feel able to continue their careers while still caring for their children. Thus, there would be less risk of new mothers leaving the company, so managers would be able to hire women at less financial risk and therefore could afford to grant female employees the same payment and benefits as men.
In conclusion, we believe that the best way to bring about sexual equality is to create equal opportunities for both men and women in the workforce. This is the best change we can make to maximize the most happiness for everyone affected.